Okay, can everyone hear me? Okay, hello everyone. Thank you for the introduction. My topic today is teamwork, team performance, team sports in general. Might be a bit different to the presentations that already been here. Maybe some of you will agree with me, maybe some of you will think it's not so true, but please try to be open-minded, try to use this as inspiration. So, I'll start with some quotes. I always, when I do presentations or when I work with athletes, I always try to give them examples of real professionals. So here are some quotes about teamwork. Michael Jordan, I guess I don't need to introduce the guy. Talent wins games, but teamwork and intelligence win championships. Very powerful. Vince Lombardi, American football coach, I think he got about 5 NFL championships with his teams, and he says, individual commitment to group effort, that is what makes a team work, a company work, a society work, or a civilization work. So not just sports, but also the world, the society. It's teamwork. And the last quote, Phil Jackson, basketball coach. I think he when he was coaching, I think he got about 11 NBA titles. So these guys, real professionals, and they really achieved something with their teams. And he says, good team becomes great one when the members trust each other enough to surrender the me for the we. So just for the inspiration. So we probably when you work with teams or when you are in sports, you know that teamwork is very important. And we always talk about teamwork, okay? We need to be a good team, come on, let's play like a team. We are a great team, fight for each other. We always talk about this, right? It sounds like a cliche sometimes even. But what is it? What's actually teamwork? What's behind it? What do you guys think? Team spirit? Team goal? Good. Yeah. Cooperation. And what's behind cooperation? Communication, trust. Sorry? Each other. Yes, knowing each other. When we sum it up, we can say that behind teamwork, it's about relationships. So how we maybe not like, but respect each other, accept each other, but it's all about relationships. If we have good relationships in the team, it doesn't mean that we have to like each other, it doesn't mean that we have to go out for a beer after training. No, it doesn't. And we will get later on we will get to what it actually means to have a good relationship. But why relationships? I would like to introduce you Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Maslow is a very famous psychologist, humanistic approach. What he says and what this pyramid says is that we have some needs, right? So we have physiological needs, safety needs, love and belonging, self-esteem, and then self-actualization. Now, what Maslow says is that if my physiological needs are not satisfied, so if I'm hungry, if I didn't get enough sleep, if you guys right now are waiting for lunch or you didn't get much sleep last night, then you're probably not going to care that much about what I say right now or about your goals or about, you care about that you are hungry. That's what Maslow says. Okay, if my physiological needs are satisfied, then okay, I need to feel safe. I need to feel accepted by the group. I need to feel that I'm secure. If I have that, I can go into, okay, is my family okay? Do I have good relationships? This is what Maslow says. And then, after my relationships are good, after I feel safe, after my physiological needs are good, then I start to care about, okay, do I have good status? Do I do something for my life? I start to care about my ambitions. I start to care about my dreams, maybe. Okay? But we can see that relationships are before that. And this is something that really needs to be recognized for achieving teamwork. So before I start to care about team success, before I start to care about victory, I first need to feel secure. I first need to feel accepted by the group. Now, so what it means is that I need to have good relationships. Now, what's at the beginning of each relationship? What do you think? And it can be in general. It doesn't have to be sport, but in general, in relationships. Interaction. What else? Attraction. Okay. Good. So is it trust? Is it sympathy? Or is it that we have fun together, we can laugh together? Is it that someone has a good charisma and we just like the person because we don't know, but we just like them? Or is it that we just clicked, we start to understand each other? What is it? What do you think? What's at the beginning? Now, what I say is respect. At the beginning of each relationship, and it doesn't matter if it's sport, if it's team, or if it's life, or if it's business, it's respect. Now, what truly means respect? And that's a tricky question. That's where it gets really tricky. For me, respect is that I respect you for who you are, and you respect me for who I am, and you accept me. And that's where I start to feel safe, right? So at the beginning, there is respect. If I have respect, if I feel that some of you respect me, if you accept me, I start to trust you. If I start to trust you, I want to cooperate with you. I want to listen to you. I want to work with you. I want to show you that I care about you. Okay, because we have trust, and then there comes cooperation. Now, if we have cooperation, and I think some of you said it already, then we can perform together. And this is where we get to teamwork. But it all starts with respect. And now this graph this is not my idea, it's actually Mr. Helstein's idea, who is sitting right over here. When I first heard it, I was like, wow, this really makes sense. And I started to use it in my work. And I can tell you one example about this team that I work with. It's a football team, professional team, they play in the Slovak league. And there was one particular player who got very angry at opponents or referees. So I started to work with him a little bit. And there was this particular game, very important game for the team. And he got a red card. Very stupid red card. He pretty much I think he smashed the opponent or something like that. So very stupid. And I came up to him after the game and I was like, well, why? And he comes to me and he's like, well, you know, the referee wasn't making good calls, and then the opponent was making fun of me, and then they started to use their elbows, so I got really angry and I just couldn't control the emotions. And I'm like, yeah, but that's you. But what about the people? What about your teammates? What about they had to play a very important game in 10. And he goes, all right, yeah, that's true. And this is professional football player. I think he's about 24, 25 years old. And this is where I was like, well, this is really surprising, because he's a professional, and this is probably the first time that he heard about, okay, well, look at them. This was all you. Okay, I understand that you got angry. I understand that you couldn't control your emotions. But what about respect? When you get a red card, you don't respect your teammates, because then they have to play in 10, and it's hard for them, and it's hard for the club. So how do you respect the team? And I think it just kind of clicked in his head. And since then, of course, we work with emotional control, but he was willing to work with that. And that was the first step, because he was like, yeah, well, actually, I need to respect them. So it's just example, and this is an adult. And this is where I started to get really, really worried, because I think he never heard this. And this is a professional football player. Again, he plays for his national team, not Slovak one, but he's a foreigner, and he plays for the national team, so he's real professional. And he never heard about respect, relationship. What is this? I'm a football player. Yeah. So, just some questions. I don't know, not many coaches here, but there are just some questions that if you want to look at to respect and how your team actually works, there are some questions that you can ask yourself. How many yellow or red cards do you have? That shows about, again, how players respect each other. How many fouls do you usually make? Again, if I foul someone, I put myself, my emotions and everything in front of the team, because again, when I foul someone, my team has this advantage. How do players react to others' mistakes? Do they swear on each other? Do they show some gestures? What is it? How do they react? Is the changing room loud at half times or at periods or after the game? Do they swear at each other? Or is the changing room quiet? Which is, in some cases, even worse for me, because there's no communication between the players. So just a few tips to think about. Now, the good thing about SportMind and the beautiful thing about it, and the reason why I work with it, is that SportMind can kind of give you an insight into respect, the team dynamics, and I think the presentation before, you get lots of information about what can you see in the diagnostics. So, for example, in team profiles, you can see, okay, are players able to open up in front of each other? Do they respect each other? How is the atmosphere in the team? Are the relationships good or bad? Do they feel good in the group? Do they feel safe? You know, the pyramid. Do they feel safe? That's the basement. Will they stick together under pressure? So everything can be seen in the diagnosis, which is a great tool to start working with. So as an example of the basketball team that I worked with, I came there, we did the mental diagnostics in the beginning, we got the team profile, and what we saw was that the players are not ready to respect each other, they are not ready to accept each other, their position, they didn't really believe in their team. And you know what was the biggest surprise for me? In the first session, I asked them, okay guys, so what's your biggest strength? And they go, yeah, teamwork, I think we are a really good bunch of people. And I'm like, yeah, I know you don't, you're not. And you saw that, you know, in the sessions, someone started to talk, and others would start to talk as well. And I'm like, well, where is the respect? Where is your teamwork? And these are just a few examples of how you see how the players interact. And when we got into the pitch, into the court, when the game was getting a bit intense, there were much more fouls, and the team suffered from it because at the beginning there was no respect. Even though they said, yeah, teamwork, yeah, that's our strength, but no, actually no. So we started to work with it. After all, they had the biggest success in about five years, so it was very good cooperation. And I think afterwards the players started to realize, okay, well, actually we really need to work on our teamwork. Okay, so I would like to give you maybe a few tips how to develop these relationships, because yes, in the world of, you know, in the sports setting, there's lots of concentration on the results and on teamwork and on I don't know, like we need to win, we need to be a team, we need to win the following game, we need to win the league. But you know, the relationships are a little bit there behind. Yeah, we will just do it somehow. So how to actually develop this? How to put more focus on the relationship? That's going to be my last two slides. So between coach and team, very important relationship between coach and the team. How the coach sees the team and how the team sees the coach. Also, you can see this in the mental diagnostics of the team. Very important, very important. Because if I don't respect, if I don't like my coach, then you know it's just not gonna work. Sooner or later, it will just crash. So first of all, as a leader and as a coach, promote respect, promote communication. If you want others to respect, you gotta respect them first. Because if I respect you, then you are much more likely to respect me, or at least be willing to respect me. If I care about you, you start to care about me. So as a coach and as a leader, you have a big power. So as a leader, show them respect first. And I guarantee you that you will get much more respect if you show respect first. Meet individually with each player at least once in 2-3 weeks. Now, might be very tricky for bigger teams, basketball, achievable, football, ice hockey, not so much. I understand that, but at least try to talk to the players at least 5 minutes. Try to show them that you care. That's how you build a relationship. Just try to show them that you care. Ask for their feedback. Again, very might be difficult for coaches to ask the team, okay, well, what do you think about my coaching? What am I doing well? What do you like? And what you don't like? What should I change? Ask for their feedback. This is how you build the relationship. This is how you show them, okay, well, I want to improve, and then they will be willing to improve. They will be more open to your feedback. But maybe you need to make the first step, even though it might be very difficult for coaches, I know. But that's a true strength. If you can do that as a coach, then heads down. Care about their life out of sport, or at least think about it a little bit. We are all humans. Players are humans as well. If they have problems at home with their families, girlfriends, boyfriends, mom or dad, it's going to affect their performance. So at least think about it. Think about their relationships out of sport. Think about what's happening in school. I don't know, maybe they have some different work. Maybe they have some problems. At least think about it a little bit. Now the 5th point, let them evaluate the games and create rules. This is a good way to build relationship because you kind of make them involved in the process. So if you let them evaluate the game, okay guys, well, after a game, what do you think? What did we do well? What did we do bad? First of all, you develop the involvement, and second of all, you actually develop their thinking, sport thinking in long term. So very important. Also, if you let them create rules, they are much more likely to actually stick with the rules than when you give them rules. Okay, this is what we're gonna do. No. Try to get them involved a little bit more into the process. There is this rule that we as sport psychologists always say, praise in front of the team, so give praise in front of the team, and criticize individually in just one-on-one. I think the most important point for coaches could be that, okay, try to lead by the example. You as a coach, you are the leader of the team, you are the head of the team, and what you're going to do, the players will pretty much follow. Again, if they respect you. If they don't respect you, they're not going to follow, and that's when you get problem. And that's why I'm here today talking about it a little bit. So try to lead by the example, be the inspiration for the team, and sooner or later, the results will show, I promise you. So that's between coach and the team. And now, little bit about the team as the group of people. So between players, how to develop relationships. It might be actually much easier than you think. Once a month, try to get them out of the sport setting and try to get them together, I don't know, have a dinner, or with the female team, okay, let's cook something or bake something. Try to get them just involved with men teams. I don't know, take them to paintball, take them to go-kart, whatever. Just try to get them a little bit out of the sport setting where there's not so much tension or so much pressure, and try to give them a chance to actually get to know each other a little bit better than in trainings or games. Very important one, get them talking in front of each other. If there is a problem, like I work with this team, you ask a question and about pretty much, okay, what did you do yesterday? And they just couldn't answer in front of each other because no respect, no open communication, no team. So when I work with this team, I try to kind of start with easy topics. So we talk about, okay, what do you guys like to do in your free time, and things like this. So we got them a little bit talking in front of each other. We started to do open communication, and then we moved to serious topics like, okay, so what do you like about this team? What do you like about our previous game? And then they started to talk. And when they started to talk, they started to give each other feedback, and they started to coach each other. And this is what you want. That's when the team is really working. Once in a while, try to let them have some fun at training. There might be different sports here, but I am pretty sure that every single sport has some kind of activity or drill that you can use to, let the players have a little bit of fun, so they can have positive atmosphere, so they can laugh together, so they can joke a little bit. This is also something that can help them to build a positive atmosphere and to feel good in front of each other. If you have a chance to work with a sports psychologist, try to work with some quick team building activities before the game or before the training, like a trust fall, very easy. You stand in the circle, there is one person in the circle, and he has to close his eyes, have arms like this, and pretty much the teammates who are in the circle have to kind of pass him a little bit around, and the point is that he has to trust. This is how and again you see who trusts the team, who doesn't trust the team, so very, very quite nice and efficient team building activity. And the last one, and maybe the most important one, is this one. If there is a conflict in the team, talk about it. And it can be a small problem, it can be a big problem, but it's very, very important to open it up in front of the team and to talk about it. Because if you don't, it's going to just add up, and it's going to smash. And I already have 2 examples of that in my team that I work with. 2 very important players are being left out now. So, or maybe, but one of them was already. So, very important, don't hide problems. Okay, so as I started with a quote, I would like to finish with one as well, from Jim Calhoun. Winning and champions are memorable, but they come from the strength of the relationship. Again, very successful basketball coach. So, if there is only one thing that you want to take from my presentation, is that relationships are important, and it needs to start with you when you start to respect your players, or when they start to respect each other. And I think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your contribution. I think that there will be space 5 or more minutes to determine to your questions. So if anyone of audience have a question, please ask. George, okay.
Yes, of course I can. Especially with the women, and it's not just in sport, but we as women, we like to hold things in and hold a grudge in ourselves. So when problems arise, maybe we don't have that much courage to say it aloud, and we still hold it against the person. So in women's team, I think relationships are even more important, because we as women, we need relationships. We need to love someone. We need to be loved. We need to feel accepted. So with women, it's even much more important. With men, and I work with men's football team, and football players. So obviously, they just say what they want to say. So even though if there is a problem, this is what I maybe like a little bit more about men's team, is that they will just say, and maybe they will scream, maybe they will, use some not very nice words, but at least they say. So with men's, it's maybe a little bit more easy, because they're just the way men's are. They just say, and then they go out for a beer, like, okay, everything's fine. We already discussed this. With women, yes, we do hold grudges quite for a longer period of time. That's why it's really important to have someone to open it up and be like, okay, now you tell me what's wrong, and now you tell the person what you don't like, because if you say it into the face, then we're not going to solve the problem.
Anyone has a question? I have. May I?
Sure.
You were talking about players and athletes and relations between coach and team member, but what about coaches? When do you know that he's the right person to do these rules and lead a team? Do you use SportMind diagnostics to them as well, or it's just for team members or athletes?
Yeah, sure. When I work with teams, I usually get not just the head coach, but also the whole coaching staff to do the diagnostics, and we also see whether the head coach is a true leader and whether the team kind of sees him as the true leader. So we do, and then what we actually started to do with this team that I work with, we diagnosed the assistant coaches. And we said, okay, according to the diagnostics of yours and according to players' diagnostics, what players you would fit to work with. So now each assistant coach has about 5 players that he, according to the test, can work with. And this is something that really helped the team as well and the coaching staff, because if you have 25 players, it's really hard for the coaching staff to get every single player involved.
Okay, thank you for your contribution. Applause, please, once again. And I